In the last video, we talked about a mechanism or user-centric framework for understanding or deconstructing our management system. So now we're going to talk about it from a needs-driven standpoint. Basically, what should our management system accomplish? What is its purpose? What is it trying to do for us? So these are the objectives, looking into our work and what we hope that management system accomplishes for us. So the first thing I'll say is that our strategic inputs should occur first. Why is that? Well, what our strategy suggests to us is what do we need to pay more attention to than we currently are. So our strategy may shift what's important, what we need to do more of, what we need to emphasize or be excellent at. That should tell us what we need to pay more attention to. Also, the things that we have to pay more attention to but don't naturally do so. There's plenty of things that we just always pay attention to. It's just there in front of us. And so we don't need any special management system, any special attention to help draw our attention to it. This is why very few people have metrics around their email usage, because it's just in front of them. It draws their attention. It probably draws too much of their attention. So what isn't naturally drawing our attention and is important? That not natural is what our management system should focus our attention towards. It also tells us what we should pay less or even no attention to. What can we put in the back burner? What can we put aside? What can we just leave on autopilot and worry about some other things? So think about your strategic intent first and build your management system out from that. Second, a big part, as I mentioned before, of our management system is about drawing our attention to problems. If our work just occurred as intended, we wouldn't need much of a management system, right? Our management system is there to draw attention to problems and abnormal conditions. Now, the first distinction here is which of those problems are really to be managed within the team. Right? This is sort of what I'll call the boundary layer management system. It may never leave the team, it may never leave the work, but it still brings special attention to help resolve that problem. So there's some problems and abnormal conditions that get an immediate attention within the team. Then there's others that get attention beyond the team. This could be either because it has tremendous impact down the road and other people need to be aware of it. It could be that it has impact to other functions or other decisions, and so people need to be aware of it. It could be that special help is needed, and so we need to be made aware of it. So whether those problems are within the team or beyond the team affects greatly how we build our management system. Now, as part of this, I should bring up the term "and done." It's really an essential part, I believe, in one way or another, of any management system. And it's essentially how we design our help chain, how we get help to the problems. That's part of what the management system is. If the system and the work performed as expected all the time, we wouldn't need help. And so the end on is about bringing the right help to the right issues at the right time. Now, for those that have already seen me talk about and-on, this might be a refresher, but to me, an and-on has 5 key elements in its definition. Now first, let me just describe and-on is just a Japanese word that means signal or light. This is why I often use the term help chain, because it makes a little more sense to those of us that don't know the term and-on. And while I don't really care which term you use, this is different than just the term escalation, which all we really do is inform people that there's something wrong. So an and-on has 5 elements to it. First, we have to define what is a problem. Is 5% behind schedule a problem? Is 1%? Is 20%? If we don't have the same definition of what is a problem, we are in trouble. Second, how do I detect that problem? What is the means of detection? And that is essential, whether it's a metric, whether it's direct observation, whether it's a standard that can't be followed as intended. All of them become mechanisms that help us see that something is wrong, that problem did occur. Third, we need a means to escalate it. Now this could be as simple as a meeting where we know that that's where problems get brought up, or and-on was meant to be signal. We actually have a signal to draw attention to the problem. Fourth, we need to know who we're escalating that problem to. This could be within the team, this could be vertically up into the organization, this could be horizontally to where help would come from. But there has to be a specific definition of who that and-on signals. And fifth, often missed, is what is the expected response? If we don't know what the expected response is, we end up creating undue excess work and certainly delay in problem resolution. So this all becomes an important element, is how we design not just problem detection, but problem response, both within teams and beyond for the organization. Now the third element in having a needs-driven view of your management system is to really look at what's important to you. Right? What are those elements? So for example, if people are important to you, where are you commonly talking about talent and talent development? Is that done once a year as part of performance reviews, or do you do talent mapping? Do you tie talent to goal setting? How do you systematically drive talent improvement and escalation in your organization? Culture could be important. How do you design your management system to enable, to reinforce, to elevate the right behaviors? For example, GE is one of many companies that says behaviorally, safety is very important. And so at every meeting, they begin with safety. Even when they do an investor conference, they begin with safety, because that is part of their culture. They use their management system to help reinforce and shape that culture. Cash could be really important to you. In one organization I was in where cash was really important, everyone got a daily cash spend report. That was part of our management system, so that we were aware of every penny, every decision, every spend. Customer experience could be really important to you. This is why Amazon for many years would put management and executives into call centers, taking customer complaints, resolving customer issues, to understand and be exposed to issues with that customer experience and how we manage it. Quality could be really important to you. At one very well-known food company I used to work with, every meeting, every daily meeting involved product taste tests. Look at the wrapping, look at the packaging, taste the food, make sure that there's nothing abnormal. These aren't statistically significant, but they elevated the importance of quality. So those are just some examples, but you have to know, what are my priorities? What are the top things that are important to me? And how do I shape the mechanisms of my management system to make sure those needs are met? So we have those two, I don't want to say competing, but alternative views: the user experience, which is really looking at the mechanisms and how people experience the management system, and the needs view, which really, what is our purpose, what is our objective, and looking in to how we shape the management system to accomplish those objectives.